Welcome to Better You Daily. In the last video, we broke down the psychology behind procrastination, how your brain labels certain tasks as threats and pushes you to avoid them. Today, we stop explaining the problem and start solving it. This video gives you a direct, step-by-step method to disarm that threat, bypass resistance, and move into action. Step 1. The permission to feel. Stop. Absolutely everything. Put down whatever is in your hand. If you're sitting, feel the chair beneath you. If you're standing, feel the floor under your feet. This is not a pause to judge or plan. This is a full stop. Now turn your attention inward. I want you to locate the sensation connected to the task you're avoiding. Don't think about the task itself, think about the feeling it generates in your body. Is it a tight knot in your stomach? A dull pressure behind your eyes? A restless, jittery energy in your legs? A heavy blanket of fatigue? Just scan your body. Find it. Now give it a name. Not a vague label, but a precise one. Is it dread? Is it resentment because you'd rather be doing something else? Is it imposter syndrome, the fear that you're not qualified and will be exposed? Is it perfectionism, the conviction that if you can't do it flawlessly, it's not worth starting? Is it sheer boring tedium? Say the name of the feeling out loud to this empty room. This is dread. This is resentment. I feel like a fraud. Your voice might shake. That's fine. Here is the critical part. You are now going to separate the feeling from the command it's giving you. The feeling of dread is screaming, "Danger! Flee!" Your job is to simply listen to the scream, acknowledge its presence, and say, "I hear you." You are a feeling of dread. You are not a directive. You do not get to steer the ship. You are a passenger, and you are loud, but I am still the captain. Do not argue with the feeling. Do not try to rationalize it away with, "I shouldn't feel this way." That's just another layer of conflict. Just observe it. Ah, there's the overwhelm. It feels like a wall. Interesting. By naming it and observing it with detached curiosity, you create a psychological space, maybe just an inch, between your core self and the emotional storm. In that inch of space, your executive function, your rational planning mind, can finally get a signal through. That inch is where you regain choice. Sit in this space for 10 full breaths. Do not move to step 2 until you have precisely identified the feeling and verbally acknowledged its presence, without following its order to run. This is the foundational move. Everything else builds on this moment of non-judgmental awareness. Step 2. The 2-minute window. The part of your brain that's scared has built a monolith. It sees finish annual report, write novel, learn Spanish, overhaul business plan. These are not tasks. To your amygdala, they are terrifying, infinite landscapes. Your job is to shrink the monolith down to a single, stupidly simple pebble. You are not doing the thing. You are performing the first, most trivial, purely mechanical action that is undeniably a part of it. Your instruction is this. Define the absolute smallest physical motion that represents a start. If it's a report, it is open the Word document and type the title at the top. That is all. If it's cleaning the garage, it is walk into the garage and put one empty box in the recycling bin. If it's studying, it is open the textbook to page 1 and read the first paragraph. No notes, just read it. If it's a creative project, it is sketch one terrible, meaningless line on the blank canvas. Now, set a timer. Not for 25 minutes, for 2 minutes. You are going to commit to this pebble-sized action for 120 seconds. The rule is ironclad. When the timer goes off, you have full, guilt-free permission to stop. You can walk away and say, "I did my 2 minutes." This is not a trick. It's a contract. But You must begin immediately after setting the timer. No final scroll, no "let me just check." The timer starts, you move. The psychological magic here is twofold. First, you are making the cost of entry so negligible that even the terrified part of your brain can't muster a compelling argument against it. How can you be afraid of typing a title? Second, and more importantly, you are overriding the initial inertia. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. The hardest part of any task is often the very first motion, the act of switching states from not doing to doing. By committing to just 2 minutes of a microscopic action, you lubricate the gears. You create the tiniest spark of momentum, and momentum, not motivation, is the true fuel for action. Start the timer now. Do your pebble. When the beep sounds, you may stop, but pay attention to what you feel at that moment. Do you really want to stop, or has the monolith begun to crumble into a manageable path? Step 3. Disarm the environment. Your willpower is a finite resource, and your environment is a minefield designed to deplete it. Every ping, every visual cue, every potential interruption is a side door your procrastinating mind will use to escape. We are now going to seal those doors, not with effort, but with design. This is a tactical operation. First, the digital arena. Take your phone. Do not just silence it. Physically remove it from your workspace. Place it in a drawer in another room. If you need a timer, use a watch, a kitchen timer, or a separate device. Now, go to your computer. Close every single application and browser tab that is not absolutely essential for the next work cycle. That includes email, messaging apps, social media, news sites, everything. If you need the internet for research, open one single fresh browser window with only the necessary site. Put in full screen mode. This visual isolation is critical. Now, the physical space. Clear your immediate desk or table surface. Put unrelated clutter out of sight, in a drawer, on a shelf behind you. Only have the tools for this one task in front of you. If there's noise, put on headphones. They don't even need to play music. They are a visual and auditory barrier. Finally, the social layer. If you are not alone, make a clear, polite, and time-bound declaration. Do not say, "I'm busy." Say, "I'm going into a focused work session for the next 25 minutes. I'll be available after that." This sets a boundary others can respect and, crucially, makes your commitment social. You are not trying to be strong. You are making it physically and digitally harder to procrastinate and easier to focus. You have now created a fortified cockpit. The only path of least resistance left is to engage with the task itself. The environment is no longer your adversary, it is your ally. Step 4. The single cycle engine. You have acknowledged the feeling, you have taken the 2-minute start, you have sealed your environment. Now we engage the engine for one single clean cycle. This is based on the Pomodoro technique, but with a specific mindset. Set a timer for 25 minutes. This timer is a sacred covenant of focus. It represents a short, finite period where your only job is forward motion, not quality, not brilliance, not completion. Your mantra for these 25 minutes is progress, not perfection. Begin. If you are writing, write. If you get stuck, do not stop and stare. Type the following in brackets. Stuck here, not sure how to transition from X to Y, and then continue writing past the problem. If you are analyzing data and hit a confusing point, make a note, this figure seems off, recheck source later, and move to the next figure. If you are designing and hate what you're making, create a placeholder and keep going. You are not building the final product, you are moving dirt. You are creating a rough, ugly first draft of the work. The goal is to maintain cognitive flow and physical momentum for the entire duration. The timer is your psychological guardian. It means this intense effort has a guaranteed end. You can tolerate frustration, boredom, and confusion for 25 minutes because you know relief is scheduled. When the timer rings, you must stop, mid-sentence if you have to. This is non-negotiable. Stand up. Physically leave your workspace if possible. For the next 5 minutes, you are in mandatory recovery. Do not check your phone. Do not check email. Stretch. Look out a window at something distant. Walk to get a glass of water. Breathe deeply. This break allows your diffuse mode of thinking, the background processor, to start working on the problems you just encountered, often leading to insights when you return. After 5 minutes, you have a conscious choice. Begin another 25-minute cycle or conclude your session. There is no wrong answer. Often, the momentum from the first cycle makes starting a second much easier. But the power is in the purity of the single, undistracted cycle you just completed. Step 5. Reframe the narrative. During your 5-minute break, or immediately after completing a work session, you must perform cognitive surgery on the story you're telling yourself. Procrastination is sustained by a negative internal narrative. This is terrible. I'm bad at this. This is pointless. You will now consciously rewrite that script. This is not positive thinking. It is accurate thinking. Find a truer, more useful perspective. Ask yourself, what is the smallest point of curiosity here? Shift from I have to do this to I wonder what will happen if I try this approach. Frame it as an experiment. Connect the microscopic action to a macroscopic purpose. The sentence isn't, I'm writing a boring paragraph. It's, this paragraph is one brick in the foundation of my credibility. The task isn't, I'm cleaning this data set. It's, cleaning this data brings me one step closer to the clear insight I need. If anxiety is the dominant feeling, practice decatastrophizing. Ask yourself, what is the actual worst-case scenario if this isn't perfect? Usually, it's a minor embarrassment or correction, not a career-ending catastrophe. Speak to yourself with the tone you'd use with a capable but anxious colleague. This is a challenge, and challenges are navigable. We have the tools to figure this out. The words in your mind are the architecture of your emotional and behavioral reality. By reframing the narrative from a threat-based story to a challenge-based or curiosity-based story, you change the very chemical signals in your brain, reducing cortisol and allowing for clearer, more engaged thinking. Step 6. The completion ritual. Do not let a work session simply dissipate. A fuzzy end leads to a fuzzy memory of accomplishment and reinforces the idea that work is an endless, draining slog. You must install a clear, sensory off-ramp. When you decide your focused work is complete, whether after 1 cycle or 4, perform this specific sequence. Formalize the stop. Say out loud with intention, session complete. The auditory confirmation is powerful. Close the loop. If you're on a computer, save your work, then close the document or the application. Actually click the X. Watch it disappear from your screen. If you're working physically, put all your materials away in their designated place. Close the notebook. Put the tools in the drawer. Reset the space. Clear your desk or workspace back to a neutral, clean state. This physically signals to your brain that the work zone is now closed. Note the win. Take 10 seconds to mentally acknowledge one concrete thing you moved forward. I outlined the introduction. I resolved 3 data discrepancies. I drafted the first key message. This ritual serves a vital neurological purpose. It creates a definitive boundary, telling your limbic system the threat period is over. We are safe. We succeeded. It converts the amorphous stress of having to do stuff into a completed event. Over time, this conditions your brain to associate starting work not with an open-ended torment, but with a defined period of effort that concludes with a clear, satisfying endpoint. It builds a sense of agency and completion, which is the antidote to procrastination's lingering dread. Step 7. Analyze the friction. This is the meta step. It turns you from a passive victim of procrastination into an active scientist of your own productivity. Once per day or once per week, invest 5 minutes in reflection. Get a notepad or open a blank document. Title it Friction Log. Ask these questions. At what precise moment did I hesitate or divert today? Example, I opened my email instead of the report draft at 10:15 a.m. What was the specific task or subtask that triggered the avoidance? Example, it was starting the financial analysis section because I wasn't sure which dataset to use. What was the feeling associated with that friction point? Use Step 1 language. Confusion and fear of choosing wrong. What time of day was it? What was my energy level? Do not use this log to berate yourself. Use it as diagnostic data. Patterns will emerge. You may find you always procrastinate on creative work after lunch. Low energy. You may find any task involving phone calls triggers anxiety. You may find unclear instructions are your primary blocker. This data allows for systematic solutions. If afternoons are low energy, schedule your most important task for the morning. If phone calls are a trigger, break it down further. Step 1 is just drafting a bullet point script. If instructions are unclear, your next action isn't do the task, it's send one email to clarify point X. Procrastination is not a moral failure, it is a signal. It is your brain's way of highlighting an obstacle, lack of clarity, skill deficit, emotional resistance, or poor environmental design. The friction log allows you to decode the signal. Your job is to listen, then adapt your process, your steps, your environment, your self-talk to reduce that specific friction next time. This is how you build a resilient, personalized system for action that endures long after the initial motivation has faded. This is not a one-time fix, it is a practice. There will be days the old pattern returns. On those days, go back to Step 1. Feel the resistance, then take the 2-minute start. The power is in the sequence. You are not fighting laziness. You are guiding a scared part of yourself forward one tiny, manageable step at a time. Just sit down. Just open the file. Just write one sentence. You are building a ladder out of the pit, one solid rung at a time. So, look at it again. That thing. It's waiting. But not as a judge. It's waiting as an opportunity. An opportunity for you to practice this, to choose a different path, to build not just the thing, but your own confidence, your own agency, your own freedom from the shadow of delay. The timer is in your hands. The 2 minutes are ahead of you. The step is yours to take. Not tomorrow, not later. The next minute, the next breath. Begin.